Chapter 10. Swords, Lords, and Bandits, and Maps. Lightmane wanted to go see the elven merchant that he worked for while he lived here, so they all went there first. A simple wooden sign out front said General Store. They had all been in the store before, but never knew the merchant personally. All that they knew was what Lightmane had told them, that his name was Emmeline, and that he was over 300 years old, but that 300 still wasn't considered old by elven standards. Phileas, that would be considered middle age for us gnomes. Nightwind, that would be old for us dwarves. All their statements bewildered everyone else. They couldn't imagine living that long. The store had all kinds of items for sale, but it didn't take long for everyone to notice the amazing-looking map that was displayed behind the counter where Emmeline sat. A sign next to it said, Map of the World of Forestera. Price, 20 silver pieces. Latia, 20 silver pieces? For a map? Who's going to pay 20 silver pieces for a map? Emmeline heard her and replied, Well, my lady, this is not any ordinary map. This is the only map that I know of that's of the entire world, and it's also the most beautiful map I've ever seen. I paid a lot of money for it, and I fully expect that someone will pay what I'm asking for it. Why, hello, Lightmane. Is this the party of adventurers that you kept telling me about? Well, it's a fine-looking group. May all your travels be well. Lightmane. Good to see you, Emmeline, and yes, these are they. They've all been in your shop before. I just never officially introduced you all to each other. My apologies. We just got back from exploring the moat house to the west that lies in ruins. Quite an adventure we had. Tomorrow, we are heading north to the keep. But I must say, that can't possibly be a real map, for it is not possible to draw a map of the entire world. Surely you know that. Why, even if I could fly all over the entire world, I still couldn't map everything. Not accurately, anyway. Where did you get it? Emmeline. Believe it or not, from an elf. He came in here just the other day and asked me if I'd like to buy it, and that he was asking 12 silver for it. At first, I was going to say, Are you crazy? Especially after hearing his ridiculous price. But as I looked at it, I became somewhat enthralled by it and, for whatever reason, felt certain that I could sell it. So I bought it. Don't ask me why I felt that way. I've no clue, but I still feel that way, and I'm certain I will sell it at some point. Funny thing, though, as soon as I paid him, he told me the most bizarre thing. He said that I wasn't going to believe him, but that an old human woman gave it to him for free, just down the road here to the north, and she assured him that he'd get 12 silver pieces for it at the first shop he went into. I looked at him like he might be a little nuts, but he seemed like a normal elf. Still don't know what to make of that story, but it sure is beautiful, isn't it? Jack, looking bewildered. Well, just when you think you've heard it all. Lightmane, that's one crazy story, but you're not one to tell tall tales, so, as crazy as that story sounds, I believe you. It makes no sense, but I believe you. Belfin was examining the map from a distance. Well, it's got hills and mountains to the east, plains and forests and swamps in the west, completely surrounded by water, islands in each of the four corners, and a desert in the center. That's what we've always been told the world looks like. I guess whoever made this just made up what that might look like. It sure is beautiful. I'd love to have a beautiful map like this if I had a room to hang it on a wall. One day, maybe. Just then, 2 guards came into the shop and asked the party if they were the group that had just come from the moat house. This made them all quite nervous, but Jack said, Yes, we are. How can we help you? Guard, Lord Doradin has requested an audience with all of you. You need to come with us. Now everyone was extremely nervous. The guards escorted the party into Doradin's castle. To say they felt intimidated would be an understatement, but eventually they came into a large room where Doradin was waiting for them. There was a long table with over a dozen chairs. Doradin, though, did not seem as intimidating looking as they thought he would. They had all seen him once or twice before, but only from a distance and never inside, let alone inside his castle. He stood maybe 6 feet tall, with short to medium-length brown hair and brown eyes. He was very well groomed, with a short, neatly trimmed beard. When he spoke, he seemed friendly and light-hearted, not at all what they were expecting. "Hello, everyone. Come on in and have a seat. And don't worry, there's nothing wrong. Everything's fine, actually." There was food and drink at the table, bread, cheese, fruits, and vegetables, along with a small keg and a pitcher. Copper platters and 2 mugs were in front of each chair. There were also 8 small bags filled with something sitting at the end of the table where Dordan stood. Dordan: "There's water in the pitcher and some mead in the keg. Help yourself," which they did. Belfin: "Do you have any honey mead?" Dordan looked up, appearing a little surprised, but smiling. "Honey mead? Why, yes we do." He walked over to a cabinet and grabbed another small keg. "Honey mead. Here you go. The halfling who is a member of our group loves honey mead too," he said, smiling at Belfin. Belfin: "Thank you, sir." Dordan: Now, call me Dordan. And what shall I call you, good sir?" Belfin, feeling a little nervous: My name is Belfin. It's an honor to meet you, sir. I mean, Lord Dordan." Dordan: "It's an honor to meet you too, Belfin. In fact, it's an honor to meet all of you." At these words, the party became quite confused. Latia: "It's an honor to meet us? Why do you say that, sir? I mean, Lord Dordan, sir?" She sighed. "I'm sorry. It's just a little intimidating to meet the Lord of Duran like this. We are all a little, Dordan: "No need to be nervous. You are among friends, I assure you. And your name is?" Latia, still feeling nervous: I'm Latia, and this is Lightmane, Nightwind, Tenneth, Jack, Shinfia, and Phileas. As Latia introduced them, they all nervously said hello or hi, or nodded their head awkwardly. Latia: "You've already met Belfin." Dordan: "Indeed I have. It's good to meet you all. So, now that we know each other's names, though I'm sure I won't remember them, but I'll try my best, let me come right to the point. The reason I summoned you was because you were the only group to respond to my posted bulletin to go investigate the moat house. I guess 250 silver per person is a little more attractive than 30. Dordan was referring to the other posted bulletin about traveling to the keep. I believe 3 parties have already set out for the keep since they posted their notice. When the sergeant of the guard reported to me what you told him, I was pretty certain that it could be restored, so that's what I'm setting out to do. We were going to do it regardless of its condition, but I wanted to offer an adventuring party a job first. Better to clear it out, and then send in a crew to start the construction afterwards. Nice to know only the top level needs to be restored, along with the outer wall, of course. But you're here now because I wanted to meet you, and thank you, and pay you for your work." While they ate and drank, Dordan started passing out the bags to each of them. This payment also includes a partial payment of 5 silver pieces for each barrel of wine that you found. Once we've determined the contents and their value, if we still owe you more, I'll pay it then. You said there are around 100 barrels. For now, I'm assuming 48 of them are wine. I'm assuming 48 is a good guess, and also for easier math, he said, smiling. So, 240 silver for the wine, which is 30 each, and 240 silver for the job. See how that works? Nice and even and simple. So 60 silver each. But we made it 50 silver and 100 copper each. Always best to spend your copper pieces first, as I'm sure you understand. Jack: "Oh, we totally understand that, and you just made our day, sir. Lord Dordan. Just Dordan is fine." Jack? Jack: "Yes, Jack. Did I say it's an honor to meet you, sir?" Dordan: "Yes, you did, Jack." Dordan had a nice grin on his face now. "And it's an honor to meet all of you, too, for you all remind me of our adventuring party when we first formed our group so many years ago. I'd love to sit here with all of you for hours and tell you of all the many amazing adventures that we went on. But duty and dinner calls." They were confused, for they thought that this was dinner. Dordan: "The guards will escort you out. Now remember, the next time you're back here, just go to the sergeant of the guard and he'll escort you here. I'll make sure each of our sergeants knows this. There's usually one at each gate. Usually, he said, smiling. The party went with the guards and walked out of the castle. Shinfia. Oh my God, we were just inside Lord Doradin's castle. I'm still shaking. Can you believe this? We just got almost 500 silver pieces. I say we celebrate at the tavern tonight, but let's not be stupid and blow all our money and buy drinks for everybody. Maybe we should buy some better gear for some of us, though? I'd like to get a bow, maybe. Nightwind. Well, I'd like to buy some bandit armor, but that's a lot more than 60 silver. More like 150, I think. My chainmail is good enough for now. Phileas. That store we were just in had a lot of cool-looking dice and cards for sale. I was thinking of buying some. Might be fun to just hang out sometime and play games. Lightmane. I don't gamble. Phileas. No gambling. Just for fun, not money. Lightmane. Ah, well, that's different. Latia. I know how to play some card games, but what kind of games do you play with all those strange-looking dice? Do you just roll them to see who rolls highest? Phileas. Well, that's one game, but that's the fun thing about dice. You can just make up games that involve rolling them in different ways. It's kind of fun. Latia seemed slightly interested in what Phileas said. As they talked about how they might spend some of their money and about some of the items they wanted to get, they made their way back to the home of Jack's mentor, Luther, to find out about the magic sword, with plans to head to the tavern afterwards for what they hoped would be another fun and enjoyable evening. As Luther greeted them and invited them in, Jack told him what just happened with them, how they just came from seeing Lord Doradin. Luther. You just came from a meeting with Lord Doradin? Wow, you all are having quite a day, aren't you? But I know you want to know about this sword. Jack, this is a most interesting sword. Most magical swords are just your typical enchanted sword that makes you a little better in battle against your opponents. But this one has a most interesting aspect to it. For the most part, it's no different than a normal sword, though. Jack. Huh? Well, that sounds bad. I'm confused. Interesting? Interesting how? Luther. Well, let me explain. But first I need to ask you a question. Where did you find this sword? I ask because the Identify spell that I cast is an improved version that we wizards now all use. Well, those of us who are skilled enough to use it. The other version was lame, which is why I never bothered teaching it to you. It's not worth your time. This Identify spell not only tells me exactly what kind of sword it is, but it also tells me, in somewhat vague detail, some of the conditions under which it was forged or formed, if such conditions are important. And what it revealed to me was dark magic that involved undead. Does that make any sense to you? Jack told Luther about the gas they found lying in a coffin, and how they animated and attacked and paralyzed Nightwind and Lightmane, and then he showed him the writings they found inside the coffin. Luther was quite shocked. Wait, their spell backfired and cursed them and turned them into gas? But they were trapped in their coffin until someone came along and opened it? Wow, that's incredible. I don't think you all realize just how lucky you are. Lightmane, the reason you were paralyzed is because your immunity to it doesn't work with gas. If you didn't turn one of them, I don't know if you all would still be alive right now. There's 8 of you though, so maybe, but gas are nasty, and since they were warlocks, I'm guessing the sword was just a simple enchanted magic sword originally. No different than most, but the dark magic somehow turned it into what it is now, which is a weapon that is quite potent, but only against undead. Not just gas, though, but all undead. Or maybe not all, but most. Also, I'm pretty sure that it will glow when an undead creature is near. Jack. I don't think so. It didn't glow when we found it in the coffin. Luther. Look, I'm only making this assessment based on the information my spell gave me. It's just a guess, but when you found it, you had already killed the gas, right? Jack. Yes, but they animated when we opened the coffin. Luther. Yes, but you said it was laying in the coffin. I have a feeling that when you carry it, or maybe when you're holding it, that it will glow if undead creatures are around. Against creatures that aren't undead, this sword is no different than a normal broadsword. But against undead, it's similar to a giant slaying sword. Your attacks will be much better, and the damage will be quite potent. If you can find a person who wants this, you could get many thousands of silver pieces for it. If you can find someone who wants it, let alone who will spend that kind of money. Not sure if a merchant will buy it from you, unless of course they can verify what it is. Otherwise, no one is going to take your word that it's a potent magical weapon against undead without proof. So selling it probably will be very difficult to do. But if you're planning on fighting undead, I'd keep it, especially if it starts glowing, which I believe it will. Jack, looking dumbfounded. You're telling me that this sword that we found is an undead slaying sword? Are you seriously telling me that right now? Luther, yes. But realize that when I say undead slaying, I don't mean that when you hit it that it'll just die. What I mean is it will greatly improve your chances of hitting it, and the damage that you do to it will be much more than what a normal sword would do. It won't guarantee that you'll damage it every time you swing, and the undead creature can still kill you. You just have a really nice advantage now. Everyone was dumbfounded and thanked Luther very much for all that he told them. And then they went to the tavern to celebrate all their good fortune. In one sense, they very badly wanted to sell it, seeing how much it could be worth. But on the other hand, they wanted to keep it, to see it in battle. They felt that for now, they should hold on to it, just in case they encountered more undead at some point. Seemed like the best idea for now. The tavern was busy as usual, and Laura was quite surprised to see them again so soon, especially Latia. Laura, you're back? Thought I wasn't going to see all of you for a while, if ever. Change of plans? Tenneth, hello, Laura. My, you're looking as beautiful as ever. Yes, change of plans. We're not heading out until tomorrow. Laura smiled quite a smile at Tenneth's sweet words. Why, thank you, Tenneth. My, you're in a good mood tonight. Your table is still available. I'll be with you all shortly. Hello, Latia, she said, and as she gave her a quick hug. Latia, hi, sweetie. She then turned to Tenneth. I think that's the first time I heard a cleric flirt with a beautiful girl. Tenneth, I'm a cleric, not a zombie. I'm attracted to beautiful women just like any other guy. Well, except those who are attracted to the same sex, but I digress. Let us celebrate our good fortune. I have some sweet-looking armor, we have a hell of a magic sword, and we all just made a whole bunch of money today. Shinfia couldn't resist. So you're naturally attracted to beautiful women? Huh, so then, that means you're attracted to me and Latia too, right? Shinfia was so enjoying this, as was Latia. Tenneth, absolutely, he said with a big smile on his face, which surprised both of them a little bit. But girls, it's like Jack said, I love you both like you're my sisters. Laura, on the other hand, and his smile just got bigger. Latia and Shin just looked at each other, a little shocked at what they just heard, but smiled and giggled at each other. As they were about to sit down, Lightmane saw some people that he recognized over in the far corner of the tavern. 5 men sat at a table, eating and drinking. Lightmane, guys, look over there, in the far corner. Do you all see who I see? They could just barely make them out, and would have never seen them had it not been for Lightmane's eyesight. Kent and 4 of his men were having dinner. Latia, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? What are they doing here? How did they get here? Nightwind, I don't know, but what do you say we all go over there and find out? As they started making their way over there, trying not to be noticed, Tenneth spoke quietly. Didn't they say there was a village close by to the west? Why not go there? Do you think they came here because we told them about Duran? That's crazy. Why risk running into us again? Lightmane, I don't know, but let's find out. Well, look who's here. They all looked quite shocked when they saw the party, but tried their best to act normal. Kent, oh, hi. Sorry, but we weren't going to hang around with that giant lizard creature attacking you and us with no weapons or armor, so we bolted. Glad to see you survived. That's very impressive. I don't think we would have survived such an encounter. Latia, for someone who bolted, you sure had no trouble grabbing all of your gear and supplies before bolting. Kent, well, why shouldn't we? When we heard the fighting stop and none of you came out, we figured it killed you. So we took everything we could and fled that place, lest it kill us too. Nightwind: You fled from us, not the creature. You saw an opportunity to escape and you took it. Lucky for you, we're in Duran and not in a forest right now. Well, we are in a forest right now. But I digress, he said, smiling as he looked at Tenneth, who smiled back. Kent: Look, I'm not going to argue with you. We ran. We survived. Now we're having dinner. How about you all just leave us alone? Phileas: Where's the rest of your group? There were 8 of you. Tom, looking somewhat sad: They're dead. Latia: What? What happened? Kent: Goblins attacked us on the road. We killed them, but not before they killed 3 of my men. Now we're hoping to find a party to join. How about you? Can we join up with you? The shocked faces on all of them gave Kent his answer. Yeah, didn't think so. Never mind. Latia: Are you kidding me right now? You think we'd have any interest in going adventuring with the likes of you? And I'm sorry, but 3 of your men just died and you're sitting here smiling and eating and drinking like everything is just fine. Kent: It didn't just happen. That was yesterday. We traveled all day to get here. We'd like to join your party, but you're not interested, so we'll look elsewhere. We're not going to go adventuring anymore until we have people who will give us a better chance to survive. See, we're taking your advice. I don't get why you won't let us join you, though. We could help you in many ways. The party was beside themselves with the way Kent spoke to them, let alone the things that he said. So Belfin decided to tell him something. Do you want to know the real reason why we would never allow you to join us or go adventuring with you? Do you really want to know? Kent looked confused, but curious. Yes. Tell me what the issue is, because I don't get it. We are quite resourceful and would serve you well. You'd benefit greatly with our help. Latia was getting quite angry. Okay, I'm about to lose it here. The unbelievable audacity of you to think that your being with us would benefit us? Okay, I gotta sit down. Belfin: It's okay, Latia. Let me talk. Kent, the reason none of us would ever allow your group to join us is this. If any of us were in trouble, we would all do everything in our power to help them. If any of us were wounded, we would do everything in our power to help heal them. And if any of us were to die, we would cry out in pain and agony at the loss of our good beloved friend. Belfin started to get a little emotional, but quickly composed himself and continued. And then we would all gather together in mourning and share our memories and the times we had together. We would honor them in every way we could. Belfin moved closer to Kent and looked him right in the eye. Yesterday, goblins killed 3 of your men. You could care less. All you want to do is find adventurers to join up with to better protect yourselves. You have no loyalty, no honor, no dignity, no nothing. You're a despicable, disgusting man, and I loathe being in your presence. Kent quickly stood up, threateningly, towering over the halfling, as though he might reach for his sword and swing it at him. But Belfin just stared up at him and didn't even flinch. But Shinfia did. She quickly moved between them with speed that surprised Kent. Shinfia: Drawing your sword in Duran will get you arrested, so go for it. But the moment you do, my fist will be the last thing you see before you're knocked unconscious. Kent glared at her, but then realized he was not in a good position here, so he sat back down and tried to ignore them. They started to walk away. That's when Tom spoke up again. I want to join you. Bill, who was sitting next to him: Tom, what are you doing? The party turned around. Lightmane: What Belfin said applies to all of you, so stop asking. Wait, how did we get back here before you all did? Kent hesitated, then spoke. You didn't. You're just finding us here now. Lightmane: You said goblins killed 3 of you yesterday. We were here yesterday. Where were you? Kent hesitated again. We were here before that. We went back out there, to go adventuring. That's when we got attacked. So we came back here to try to find others to join with, or to join us. Either way, we just want to go adventure. Latia screaming at Kent: Oh, would you just shut up already? At Latia's voice, the place got a little quiet and heads started turning. Jack: It's all right, folks. Nothing to see here. Everything's fine. Go back to your meals and festivities, he said, smiling, which they slowly did. Tom. Latia. Latia looked at Tom. What? She said angrily, but then saw that Tom looked a little concerned. Tom. I don't think we were ever properly introduced. I really want to join with you all. Tom looked like he wanted to say more, but said nothing. Latia saw the look on his face, though, but it didn't matter. She walked over to him quietly and calmly. Tom, nice to meet you, but I'm afraid the answer is still no. Take care. They all turned to walk away. Tom looked sad and sat back down. Kent, what the hell was that? What do you think you're doing? Tom thought for a second. He shook his head. I was just trying to get her to let me join, so that maybe then, in time, she'd let the rest of us join. You know, I'd win them over. It was worth a shot. That's all I was trying to do. Kent, not quite sure if he believed Tom, took a drink and looked the other way. Give it up. They're never going to trust us. We need to find someone who will. Tom just thought to himself, someone who will trust us? Yeah, good luck with that. Sheila. Close your eyes. Bale, wondering to himself, now what? Close my eyes? He sighed. Why? Sheila. Trust me. Bale. Trust you. Sheila. Yes. Don't you trust me? Bale gave her a look. Sheila. Oh, please. Come on, I'm serious. Just close your eyes. It's a surprise. Bale. That's what scares me. But he just sighed again and slowly closed his eyes. If this is going to scare me, so help me, girl. Sheila. Girl, she said, sounding somewhat intrigued. Well. Sheila was smiling now. You think I'm going to scare you. Relax, I'm not going to scare you. Just give me a moment. Bale. I hear something. What are you doing? Sheila. I've got something for you. Now don't open your eyes until I tell you to. Bale, fearing the worst. Fine, I won't open them until you tell me to. I'm trusting you. Bale smelled something. It smelled kind of good. That's some kind of food I smell, but I've never smelled anything quite like it. Did you make something for me? Wait, is it because it's my Sheila, open your eyes. Bale opened his eyes and saw a huge piece of food that looked like some kind of cake. Is that cake? You made me a great big huge cake, he said, seeming a little confused. Sheila, for your birthday. Happy birthday. Bale, huh? I don't get it. Oh, is this a birthday present? Now Sheila was confused. Present? Sure, I guess. Birthday present. That sounds neat. I like that. Happy birthday. Bale, the humans in my family gave gifts to family members on their birthdays. They called them presents. The elves in my family thought it was very weird, but elves live forever practically, so birthdays never had much meaning to them. Sheila, oh, she said, sounding somewhat curious. Well, the humans in my family didn't give gifts. My dad would just say, it's your birthday today. And I'd say, what does that mean? And he'd say, today is the day that you were born. And I'd say, I was just born today? And he'd say, no. And then he'd try to explain it to me. But I was little and didn't really understand it. But now I do. So happy birthday, Bale. Or should I say, happy birthday, my F-E-F? Bale, looking very confused now. F-E-F? Huh? Sheila, floppy-eared friend, she said, looking at him inquisitively. Bale just sat there, giving her the look he so often gave her. Sheila just looked back at him and gave him a big, happy smile.